What will we hurt on this truck first when we off-road it? Let us know in the comments. Mid-size trucks are finally getting good again, and we're getting in on the action. That right there is a 2023 Chevy Colorado Z71, and we just bought it with our hard-earned dollars to add to the Edmunds long-term test fleet. But it gets even better. In the next few weeks, we'll be taking delivery of a brand new Ford Ranger and a new Toyota Tacoma, setting up an ongoing comparison test to see which mid-size truck is best. We'll tow with them, off-road with them, drag race them. I don't know, let's not limit ourselves. We can do anything really. And if you're interested in the Edmunds mid-size truck Olympic Games, do us a favor and like and subscribe because there is a whole lot more on the way. Now, let's meet our first competitor, the Chevy Colorado. The Colorado is the smallest truck in the Chevrolet family, and it competes in the segment that we call mid-size. For the 2023 model year, the Colorado got a nice little makeover. And on the surface, at least, it's a much better product. Chevy offers 5 trim levels of the truck, and we bought the Z71, which is the second to most expensive trim. It's also the off-road focused model, not to be confused with the ZR2, which is also the off-roady one. ZR2 is a little beefier, can do more stuff off-road. Anyway, our truck starts at $39,900, and we added $7,000 worth of options, including the advanced trailering package, some interior add-ons like heated and ventilated seats, and a surround view camera. Including the destination charge, the MSRP came out to $48,500. So let's take a little spin around our new truck. First things first, this looks a lot better than the old Colorado. Edmunds actually used to own one in 2017, and when you look at this truck compared to that one, it is night and day. I personally love the spec on the Z71, but I gotta say, we were just having a little argument, my producer and I. He thinks that this won't stand a chance off-road. If you look right here, the front air dam is actually pretty low. There's also these mud flaps right in front of the rear tires. Some of that stuff might get knocked, but of course that's something we'll find out when we eventually off-road it, and we will do that because this is a Z71. With that package, you get 18-inch wheels covered in 32-inch Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires. You get these red recovery hooks up front, and an optional thing that's not part of Z71, this color looks fantastic. It's called Sand Dune Metallic. I love the way it looks up against the black accents, and it's free too, which is a rarity these days with fun paint colors. Let's head to the back. You know, I also just noticed this nice black exhaust tip. That could also be a problem when we're off-roading. What will we hurt on this truck first when we off-road it? Let us know in the comments. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the truck. I call it the Short King side step. Very easy access to load stuff in and out of the bed, and it just looks nice and neatly integrated. Love that. The tailgate itself is damped on the way down, which is nice so you don't slam it. But other than that, there's not too many party tricks back here. We do get a nice 120 volt outlet that comes with the Z71 package. No bed liner, at least not from the factory. We might add that in as an aftermarket option at some point. Other than that, we get these nice little hooks right here, and you get some sort of like tool chest, maybe a cooler, whatever you want it to be really. There's not a ton of space in here, but hey, they got a little bit creative with the tailgate, and we like to see that. So I think for a lot of people, a full-size truck isn't necessary, but they didn't want to buy a mid-size truck because they just weren't that nice, especially with the interiors. You think of a Silverado or a Ram or an F-150, you can spec those to pretty much full-on luxury cars. But the times are a-changing, and the mid-size trucks are finally catching up and offering some really nice features in the interior. Now, we had a couple optional extras that we paid for in this truck, but they're fantastic. We have heated, ventilated seats. We have a heated steering wheel. There's just a bunch of nice touches throughout the interior. And the functionality of this space actually seems like it's going to work quite well. The materials seem like they'll stand the test of time, and believe you me, we will try all of that out. Also, bonus points here, there's a ton of spaces to put your phone. You can stick it here, there's different slots in the door. I love doing that. That's thoughtful interior design. The only thing that I don't like with this cabin so far is the shape of the seats. This is a perfect example of it feels like you're sitting on the seat and not in it. It's shaped like a bus stop bench. But the good news is there's a lot of good stuff with the tech. So before we get into the tech, honorable mention here, huge bonus points for a real center stack that's just designed well. Back to basics, no nonsense. You get real buttons for the fan speed and all the climate controls, and huge, easy to find knobs, and a real volume knob. I love that. Don't overthink it, just make it nice and simple. And the screen itself, I've really had no big complaints. You can do wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's something GM is moving away from, but luckily the Colorado still has it. And this has full Google integration. So if you sign signed into your Google account, you can download apps like Spotify, for example, and you get full Google Maps. Hey Google, navigate me to the closest Taco Bell.
Sure, Taco Bell.
It's at the point where I don't feel like I immediately want to turn on CarPlay, and that's when I know it's good infotainment. Over here too, we get a full digital info cluster. You can cycle through all the different menus too. It seems actually useful and not just there as an accessory. Things that I don't like. The Bose audio system is all bass, no matter how you configure it. Some of you hooligans out there might like that, but when I'm bumping Taylor Swift, I want something a little bit more balanced. Other than that, the wireless charging pad has not worked one time, no matter what I do. And just having one USB-A, one USB-C is kind of weak. More places to plug in your phone is never a bad thing. New stuff under the hood here with the Colorado. It used to be that you could get a 6-cylinder engine, which I think a lot of truck buyers actually prefer, but not anymore. 4-cylinder across the board. Every new Colorado uses a turbocharged 2.7-liter 4-cylinder, but what's funny is the least expensive trucks actually make less horsepower than the more expensive ones. The entry-level trims make 237 horsepower. Ours, as Z71, makes 310 horsepower. A little aftermarket tune could fix that, but then you void your warranty. Don't do that, folks. Good consumer advice here on the Edmunds channel. Funny enough, Chevy will actually do it for you at the dealer. On this truck, for example, we paid Chevy $395 and got the ZR2's torque output. So depending on the truck you have, you can upgrade the software, the hardware, or both, and get the maximum amount of everything. And you get to keep your warranty. Speaking of performance, here's how the Colorado did when we put it through a full range of performance tests. Hey, turns out that Turbo 4 in the new Colorado is a bit of a workhorse. The truck ran to 60 in a brisk 6.7 seconds. That's gonna set a high bar for the others to follow. The braking number from 60 to 0 wasn't as stellar, clocking in at 136 feet. However, the all-terrain tires did it no favors in that department. And on our Edmunds real-world testing loop, we saw 21.5 mpg, which is well, 0 forward progress over the previous generation truck. So we have a nice mix of good and just fine when it comes to the numbers. So I've already laid out our very exciting 3-way mid-size truck comparison test, and that will start as soon as we get our Tacoma and our Ranger coming to a YouTube near you very soon. Obviously, we're excited to see how the Colorado stacks up against the Tacoma and the Ranger, but we're also excited to just evaluate this as a daily driver and live with it. And in the meantime, if you have any questions about the truck, just drop them in the comments below and I will make sure to answer. As always, thanks for watching.
You want to mention the squirter?
You're not even trying anymore.